Just a quick explainer for you today on minor scales. Let's just jump right in. Each major scale has a corresponding minor scale, has a related minor scale. And the way we can kind of work this out is if we take a major scale, I've got C major here. If we take C major and we just play C major, but beginning and ending on the submediant, on the sixth note of the scale, we get the minor, we get the relative minor of that major scale. So in this case, the submediant is A, and if I just play the same notes as C major, but beginning and ending on A, we get A minor. That's A natural minor. This is because minor keys started off as a mode, a mode of the major scale. There are several different modes. So there's a mode that starts on each note of the major scale, but it just so happens that the minor mode, the mode that starts on the sixth step of the major scale, is incredibly commonly used and is now part of the standard repertory. So that's how we can take a major scale and work out its relative minor. So there are several kinds of minor scales. I've just shown you the natural minor, which is what you get if you just start on the sixth step of a major scale and play exactly the same notes. But you might find that you might have kind of noticed that with that natural minor scale, we don't. It might have felt a little bit bland, perhaps, or maybe just a little bit lacking in direction when compared to the major scale, and that's because we don't get the semitone gap between the seventh step and the tonic, between the leading note and the tonic. We lack that semitone which gives us that pull towards the tonic that we get in a major scale. So if I just play C major, that B wants to rise up to C, but we don't get that in A natural minor. We get a tone up there, and it doesn't quite want to land. So, in order to rectify that, what composers often did was sharpen the seventh step of the minor scale, and that's been reflected in some of these in the harmonic minor scale. So, if I play a harmonic minor, we've got that sharpened seventh step, which gives us the semitone between the seventh step, the leading note, and the tonic of the minor scale. So a harmonic minor is just the same as a natural minor, but with a sharpened seventh step. But this creates another problem. So by sharpening the seventh, we kind of sort out the harmony, as it were. We create that sense of direction between the seventh note of the scale and the tonic. But this gap here, this F natural to G sharp, is an interval called an augmented second. And that interval, if you like on the page, if you're singing, and a lot of the music, was designed. A lot of music is designed to be easily sung. A lot of music is designed for singers, essentially. This augmented second interval is a very difficult interval to sing, and so, in order to rectify this, composers would often sharpen the sixth and the seventh step of a scale, of a minor scale, on the way up. And then on the way down, they would flatten those again, or they'd naturalise those again, so that we lose that augmented second interval on the way up. And on the way down, we don't need those sharps anymore. We don't need that kind of leading notes to tonic motion. So we can naturalise the scale. So we end up with this sharp 6 and sharp 7 on the way up, ascending, and then just the natural minor on the way down. I'll just play what that sounds like. So there's the melodic minor scale. It's important to remember that this is all within the key of A minor. So none of these are sort of keys, as it were. You wouldn't ever say that something is in a natural minor or a harmonic minor or a melodic minor. You would always say that something is within the key of A minor. But you might see some of these scales used within a piece in A minor. So it might be that you'll see some of the chords based around A harmonic minor and some of the melodic writing based around A melodic minor. And of course, this can be these sort of three types of minor scales are evident in all 12 minor keys. So in B flat minor, B minor, C minor, and so on and so forth. So how can we go about identifying a minor key? Well, we can kind of take this in sort of 3 steps. So first things first, we can look at the key signature. And as you know from our circle of fifths, each key signature is suggestive of a major key, but might also be suggestive of a minor key. So if we're just looking at the key signature, we've really narrowed it down to 2 keys. It's either going to be the major key associated with that key signature, or it's going to be the minor key. So once we've got that key signature, in this case, it's a B flat, so I know that the possible keys are going to be F major or D minor. I might just then, just to confirm whether it's major or minor, I might look at the very first bass note in the piece. So in this case, the bass note here is a D. And I'm basically, like, at this point, 95% sure that I'm looking at a piece in D minor. But if I want to be absolutely 100% sure, I might look for evidence of that sharpened 7th step that we see in the harmonic minor. And in this case, so if I'm thinking in D minor, so that the 7th step is going to be D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. That's the 7th step of the natural minor scale. If we sharpen C, we get C sharp. And we get that C sharp here. It's important to remember that those sharpened 7ths or sharpened 6ths, they're not reflected in the key signature. So we don't ever see them in the key signature. They always appear as accidentals within a piece. And so it's quite a useful thing to remember for identifying whether a piece is in a major or a minor key. If it's in a major key, but you can see like a constant sort of natural or sharp, chances are it's in the relative minor. So there we are. There are 3 steps. I'm going to look at the key signature. That narrows it down to 2 keys, either a major or the relative minor. And then to confirm which one it is, I'll look at the first bass note. In this case, it's a D, so I'm pretty sure it's in D minor. But just in case there's any more insecurity, I'll look out for that sharpened 7th, and here it is. There's that sharpened 7th. So I'll just talk through a couple more examples. Okay, let's have a look at this one first on the left. So I've got 3 flats in the key signature. I know that that's either going to be E flat major or C minor. If you're still unsure, it might just be worth kind of having a circle of fifths around to refer to. Or you can use one of the shortcuts. So B flat, E flat, A flat here. It's a flat key, so I know that the major key is going to be the same as the penultimate flat. So we've got E flat there. It's going to be either E flat major or C minor, because C is the 6th step, the submediant of E flat major. So I'm going to look at the first bass note. There's a C in the bass, so I'm very, very sure at this point that we're looking at C minor. But we've also got this kind of B natural here. B is the 7th step, or rather B flat is the 7th step of C natural minor, and so it's been sharpened. It's been made into B natural here. So it's got to be C minor. let's have a look at this one up at the top here. Right, we've got 4 flats. The penultimate flat there is A flat, so we're looking at A flat major, and the 6th step of A flat major is F minor. So it's going to be either A flat major or F minor. I'm going to look for the first bass note, and the first bass note here is an F. So I can be 95% sure that it's going to be F minor. But just to really hammer it home, I can see these E naturals here. E flat is the 7th step of F natural minor, and E natural is that sort of sharpened 7th step that we'd see very often. So it's definitely going to be F minor. And finally, we'll have a look at this example down at the bottom. Right, so we've got 2 flats here. Looking at the penultimate flat, we've got B flat. So we're looking at B flat major. The 6th step, the submediant of B flat major, is G. So it's B flat major or G minor that it could be. And I'm just going to look at the first bass note again. First bass note there is a G. So I'm absolutely kind of, 95% sure it's going to be G minor. So just to hammer it home again, I'm going to look to see if there are any of those sharpened 7th steps. The 7th step of G natural minor is F natural. So I'm looking for F sharps. There's an F sharp there. There's an F sharp there. So I'm absolutely sure that this piece is in G minor. Right, so that's all on minor keys for today. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.